Peace, world. What is going on? Welcome to another Substantial Weekly. Hope y'all are well. Looks like I got a little bit of delay. Going to try to resolve that in a second. But in the meantime, in between time, shout out to everyone in the chat. Happy Friday to y'all, man. We got the chat popping today. Okay. Shout out to, we got C Cruz in the building. We got Eric G. Peace, what's going on? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we got somebody we ain't seen in a while. See what happens? I bring my friends through. You know what I mean? I tell folks I got special guests. It is, you know, people who forgot about me. You know what I'm saying? Like Johnny shows up with his mighty wrench. But clap it up for Johnny. We gonna show love. You know what I mean? Johnny is an OG supporter from the Substantial Sundays, those days, man. Shout out to Johnny in the chat. Hey, Mark, what's going on? Peace. Babe, I'll be watching. Oh, man. Who else we got in here? We got Ousted. Peace. What's going on? Ousted is in the building. All right. It's Sub in Japan. Now I'm in Virginia right now, but hopefully in a few months I will be back in Japan. God willing. Uncrowned Otaku in the building. Peace, what's going on, fam? My brother Early Bird is up in here. Frank is in the building too. Globetrotting, not quite, not yet. You know what I mean? Marcus is just staying up really late for us. All right. But yeah, man, I'm going to bring him in a second. Let's get through a few more shout outs. Juan is in the building. Shout out to Juan. Music and Anime is in the building. Peace, what's going on, family? Shout out to Tommy Hackett.
Joshua McGee, proud father of 2 officially now. Clap it up for our brother Johnny. And we're going to bring in our special guest in one moment because he is now a member of the Brotherhood of Fatherhood. Shout out to Avis in the building as well. Yeah, man. And I think we are caught up. All right. So, yeah, man, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're about to bring in, my favorite producer to work with, my brother from another mother. He goes by many names. You know what I mean? We're going to go down some of the names real quick. Let's see. Let me think. There is Chef Boy MD. You know what I mean? Chef Boy MD. That's one of them. You know what I mean? Clap it up for Chef Boy MD. We also, what was that? I like to call him White Chocolate. You know what I'm saying? White Chocolate. You know, shout out to, what's the one at the shows? At the shows, whenever we perform, I like to affectionately refer to him as Twinkle Fingers. That is my personal favorite. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for my brother from another mother, Marcus D. Let's get him up in here and adjust some things in the background. Marcus, what up, bro?
Oh, hey, I didn't see you come in.
What up, bro? How you feeling, man?
Good. How's everybody doing? Peace. Peace. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Good, bro. Computer was acting just fine before we went live, and then the moment we went live, it was like, delay. Let's make it spicy. Let's make it interesting. You know,
I've been having that luck today. I actually went to Costco earlier for a grocery run, and I picked up a big 24 pack of like carbonated water. I pick it up off the thing, and as I'm going to lift it, it breaks in half, and all the bottles of water spill all over the ground. And Japanese people are looking at me like, "What's this dumbass foreigner doing?" Right. And luckily there were 3 super nice little kids that came up, and as soon as it dropped on the ground, they were picking it up and putting it back on the thing, and they went and called the help and everything. But wow. It was one of those days. I almost dropped when I got one of the hot dogs from the food court. The dog fell out, rolled onto the ground. I can't win today, man.
Yo, hey man,
I'm doing great though.
Right. Listen. What my church folks say: you can't have a testimony until you've been tested. So I mean, there you go.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Amen. Wow. Amen. All right, let's get this banner up here real quick so folks
Thank
know.
You. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Let's go back to the chat real quick because folks seem excited to see you, which is always dope. One sec. There we go. Yeah, man.
My best friend lately. I've been doing all kinds of projects in the house.
Yeah, man. Oh, so how's fatherhood treating you, bro? How's that adjustment been, man?
It's good, man. My wife's awesome.
For sure.
Nobody else should know that except me.
Right.
So, but she's amazing, and she's for moms, in the beginning, for moms, for both, it's tough for both. It's an adjustment, but especially for moms because they're the ones that got to be there 24/7 and make sure that everything's going smoothly, and it seems like extremely difficult work, and I've been just kind of in awe watching my wife do what she does, and just the natural becoming a mom and just seeming like it's natural, for her just as it is. So for me, it's it took a little more time to kind of get into the swing of things, but 2 months in, and it's gone. Things are starting to level out a little bit before the next change, I'm sure. But it's awesome, man. It's super fulfilling, and already it's just crazy to see something that's half you and half the person that you know you care about
Mm-hmm.
more than anything else. So it's a trip, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm gonna try and be present. That's what I'm trying to be, is be present with
Mm-hmm.
like every part of it, and not be like, man, things go by so fast, and I can't believe you're already, a year old, or whatever.
Yeah.
Trying to keep up with it all and just acknowledge every day. So
That's what's up. Yeah, man. No, it's and this time that you're in right now is really special too, because like, I mean, every moment of their life is special, but this particular time is so unique because they change so rapidly. Like, you know what I mean? What's crazy is when Serenity was born, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks after she was born, I literally had to leave for a month to go on tour, right? And how different she looked when I came home. You know what I mean? Like, even with the pictures I see you and Yakari posting, like, from the ones you sent me early on to like the recent one she posted, I'm like, you can already see it happening so quickly. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's amazing, man. It's amazing what, like, like what kids, like, just how much they change in such a short period of time. Because when I went, after I left, I came back, she was so different. But then when even in the pictures while I was gone, like from the time I left, the first picture she sent me a week in, I was like, hey, whose kid is that? That ain't how our kid looked before I left, you know what I mean? And then when I come back, she looks different again. And then 5 months after that, I went on tour again for a month. Shout out to Cunning Linguist. I think I did 3 tours with them, including the one we did with them.
yeah.
And yeah, bro, like every time, like within that first year and a half or first year, I think I had left, or first year and a half, I had left, like, I was missing for like 3 of those months because I was on the road. So yeah, bro, it's amazing, man. Definitely being present. Simple stuff, like they recognize your smell and stuff too. So like, you know what I mean? How different, like, I guess I smelled to her when I came back from touring and stuff, smoking my clothes and all of that. And, yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild.
Reminds me of that Traveling Man, most definitely, DJ Honda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Classic.
My baby girl already walking, been away for that long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah, man. Well, congratulations again, man.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, peace to folks joining us a little bit late. Aquarium, peace. What's going on? Soul Tiger, what up? What it is? Avis says dedicated and driven. It's a simple acronym for dad. You know what I mean? It's dope. All right. On that note, let's talk about some other things we got going on, Marcus. You know what I mean? Some treats you've been posting about. You know what I mean? Let's get this up on the screen.
Yeah.
Hold on. So we can get it up there. So, man, talk about it, son. What we doing right now? What we looking at? You know what I mean?
Oh, man, we got the new but like vintage retro 10-year-old 10th anniversary Bop Alloy instrumental versions of SM Daba and Another Day in the Life of on vinyl for the first time. It's crazy. Like I remixed the instrumentals for Another Day in the Life of and had it remastered specifically for vinyl. So it's a different listening experience as far as just the instrumentals and everything. And it's got 2 different jacket variants. So that's the first one. That's the cobalt blue, the brown and blue with the red hair, which, as most people notice, it's the same as the original album cover done by Shuhei Matsuyama, who I'm still in contact with frequently. He just did the Earth Angel LP design too. and he did these for me, for us, and he added the obi on there, the Japanese obi. It's got like a bunch of different info on the back. That's how Japanese albums are released, from probably like 1950 and on, ballpark guess. But all of them have that. If they don't have that, like the in record collecting, the worth goes down by about like 40%. So it's a really dope, perk to have on a vinyl. And it just adds a lot to it, to the presentation of it. And then for this variant, we got the trans. I always get mixed up between transparent and translucent. Yeah. So this is translucent blue vinyl with pink splatter. And both the discs are that. So it's really matches the cover really well. The people at Mad Vinyl Music Pressing Company did a fantastic job on it. And yeah, came out with, those are actual pictures of the disc, not like I had the discs already, so I was able to do the mock-up with the discs themselves. And then this is the Emerald Dream variant, which has one transparent green vinyl with black marble. That's the first one. And then you can see the second one is the transparent blue, light blue, kind of like a sky blue. And then the obi turquoise, red and green variant. Super cool. Like both, like the first one's more like earthy tones, and this one's more of like mechanical cyberpunk kind of feel. And yeah, I think they came out even better than I expected. Like holding them and putting them up to the light is just, it's crazy. So got 125 copies of each of them. Once they're gone, they're gone. I don't plan on, don't think we'll be doing a repress of any of these. Yeah. So they're definitely a collector's item. The first time we pressed the vinyl, they sold out pretty quick, and people were spending like $100 on Discogs to try and get them. So hopefully, we don't have too much of that. But if you want one and you want to get it before paying aftermarket prices, definitely grab it early if you can. It's up for sale on marcusd.net and boballo.com, of course. And they ship out from Washington, so you don't have to pay Japanese shipping prices or anything like that. Thanks to my mother, who does a lot of the all the shipping for my stuff from Seattle. So shout out to her. She's amazing.
Shout out to Mama Marino,
doing all that by herself. And yeah, so it looks amazing, and the music is better than ever. So yeah, highly recommend it, and it's on sale now.
Yeah, man. Just to add to what Marcus said earlier too about the reselling on Discogs, can't stress it to you all enough. Whenever we drop stuff on vinyl, if you haven't really ever paid attention to what happens on Discogs and similar sites, whether it's eBay or something like that, if you're not one of the people who grabs the original pressing, and you finally come around to getting the vinyl a bit later, you're almost always going to pay more money. And those resale copies, it's important to remember too, like when you see it being resold on Discogs, and this is only for the people that don't know. Most people know this, but yeah, we don't get any of that, right? So my first album, 20 plus years old, part of what motivated me to repress it, one, when I would tour, people would ask all the time, but two, I saw it being resold on eBay for like, was it gently used for like $75 a piece, and I'm like, oh my god. You know what I'm saying? So definitely don't miss your opportunity to get this. It's limited edition. It's beautiful work per usual, Marcus. You always put together great vinyl releases, man, and this is no exception. Yeah, for sure. I remember when you gave me the preview, I think the mock-ups when I was in Japan, before you had the physical joint, and it already looked good, so.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it was a lot of it was actually more work than I expected it to be, and then
Mm-hmm.
ended up being a lot more difficult because of like dealing with kind of like a Mad Vinyl, who I've been working with since the Earth Angel LP. So I've been trying to find pressing companies that I like, and I just haven't liked a lot of them in the past. And I found this one. They're in Spain, and they're super cool. There's like a small bit of a language barrier, so there was
Mm-hmm.
some kind of like miscommunication where they thought they were doing one disc for each,
Mm, got it.
so it only had the instrumentals from SM Daba. So um, I paid the deposit thinking that that's what I was paying, and then I was like, but the artwork says side C and D, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like obviously there's two discs on each one, but there's some miscommunication there, and I ended up having to pay double what I thought I was going to be paying.
Wow.
And I was already so like deep into it that I was like, I'm not doing this,
Right.
because I know it's going to come out dope. So it's scary though, because you put a lot of like time
Mm-hmm.
investment and then financial investment and monetary investment in it too, and then you just hope it like doesn't turn out like a dud, you know. So when I got the vinyl back, I was like, I knew it was gonna be dope, but I was super relieved and also really happy that it came out looking like this, because it's beautiful. Shuhei did an amazing job, like breathing new life into the cover and everything, and doing the
Yeah.
labels, and just making like like also I see a lot of artists releasing vinyl with obies on them,
Mm-hmm.
but they try and put it in they try and put their album name and like their artist name and all that stuff in Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crap. It's always translated terribly. Like, it's a direct translation, and some of the letters are funky, and it just doesn't look right.
Right.
Dimensions are off. Like certain things they're trying to say is not what they're actually saying. So
Mm-hmm.
having like I'm fluent in Japanese, but also like having Shuhei be able to as a native Japanese person look into what is being said on there, and know that it's 100% accurate, is also really really cool. It's an authentic you know Japanese release that you don't have to pay Japanese import prices for, so that's always good.
That's dope, man. Dope. Yeah, no, job well done per usual, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw something up on the screen real quick so folks can also see the animated joint. This is mainly for the people who
Thank
aren't on IG. So everybody hold tight 1 second. I'm gonna get that up there. Shout out to Juan and Ousted, who already grabbed their copies. Y'all are real ones. Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
King B Cruel says, "Yo, Mark, what up, Marcus and Sub? Hey, wow, B Boy Cyclone. It's been a minute, man. Peace.
What up?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you for stopping by, fam. Yeah, so let's throw this video up here real quick. I'm gonna bring you down for a second.
I love that Yu Yu Hakusho Yu Yu Hakusho avatar.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let's remove you 1 minute.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. Nah, that promo was crazy. When you sent it to me, I was like, oh, goody gumdrops.
Saxophone Jones was doing his thing in that video.
Man. Yes. Shout out to Saxophone Jones. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? Not everybody be knowing about Saxophone Jones.
It's lore. That's lore.
Yeah,
Bob
man.
Marley lore.
Right. Hold on. Johnny says, oh, that's nice. Thank you. Got the fire emojis. Bro, every single instrumental in that Bop Allo catalog is gold. 100%, man. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Shout out to Substantial on music. He did music. on
Oh yeah,
SM
yeah.
Tablet.
When I flipped the joint, yeah, man. That's what's up. Appreciate it, bro. Started watching Bleach last week. I'm already on episode 30, but they're pretty short. Word.
Nice. Bleach is good. I've actually been watching it like kind of re-beginning where I left off a long time ago. Been watching it on the studio TV right here. It's good to also helps practice Japanese.
Yeah,
Good anime.
man.
Long though. Long.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Boy Blaze 2002. Just sent in the super chat, man. Appreciate it. This is a great time to put this reminder up for those that don't know. Yeah, man. So if you want to support the channel, it's always greatly appreciated. It's never mandatory. You could do so via the super chat feature. You can also do so via Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. I don't get paid to make this content. This is stuff that I do to bring attention to the other things that me, my brothers like Marcus, Javier Starks, and many others got going on. So I appreciate y'all tuning in every week and stuff. But definitely those donations and stuff, let's just say it makes it easier to be consistent, right? Because at the end of the day, it's great to be able to have the interaction and stuff. But the time I do spend doing this show does take away from the other time I spend creating. It's part of the reason why, for some of y'all, you probably notice I'm not as active on social media as I usually am. And it's partly because of the amount of stuff that's happening behind the scenes. Some of the stuff Marcus knows about, and then plenty other stuff. And so, yeah, man, definitely appreciate all the support that y'all send through. Thank you. Oh, 100% happy belated Father's Day to all the dads. Hope all is well. Nice afro. Greatly appreciate that, man. Thank you. Early episode of Bleach were dark as F.
Yeah.
That's real. The real question, emerald green or cobalt blue? You guys have a favorite? Oh, man. Orange is my favorite color, so I'm not really partial to I don't feel like I don't have to pick. I like them both. You know what I mean? Gotta catch them all. No.
Gotta catch them all.
It says, heck yeah, been studying Japanese for almost a year now. I only use Duolingo. Got any good tips for learning, Marcus?
Yeah. So I think like the apps that help you, like give you the grammar and the reasoning behind what you're hearing is essential.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that like the thing that's helped me the most is just listening, like over and over, like just constantly listening to it, like having a constant stream of Japanese, like because being immersed in like the culture and the language is what's going to make you feel the most confident, and like because you're basically just going to be mimicking like what you've been hearing for a long time. And I've been hearing Japanese for almost 10-12 years now, and I've just gotten to the point where like maybe 4 years ago that I was comfortable like fully speaking and like translating and stuff. But it got to the point where I was like during the corona like virus, like everything in Japan, I was listening to like the news so much back when we didn't know anything about it, and I was dreaming in Japanese, and I was hearing like words that I didn't know that I knew in Japanese, which is like it's crazy. I started dreaming in Japanese, and so it kind of tells you that your subconscious picks up a lot of stuff that even if you're not consciously retaining it, your brain is retaining it somewhere, so you can pull it back once you practice it more. So I think just having like anime is really good. Not all the stuff they say is going to be useful. Most of it's not, but dramas, I guess Japanese dramas, if you want to learn like really like applicable Japanese, is good. So just anytime you're listening to Japanese, that'll help.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, another quick shout out, KB Cruel, Cyclone, man. Thank you, bro. Yeah, clap it up for you. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for contributing. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's been hard. It's been hard these last few weeks. Let me just can I vent for a second, Marcus? Let me live real quick. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, y'all don't even know. You don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's been a little bit. It's been a little time since donations have come through the channel. I want to say like in the last 3 weeks combined, I don't think it's been more than $10. So it is greatly appreciated when y'all contribute anything. You know what I'm saying? And just know that, you know, I don't do this contingent on how much money that comes through, but it definitely helps. And there are times where, life be lifing, other things be going on. And I'm just trying to be consistent, you know what I mean? So y'all can get this info, because I know a lot of you look forward to it. And more importantly, it's about building this community, man. Shout out to all of y'all who show up every week. Shout out to the folks who aren't able to show up every week, like, you know, King B. Cruel, Cyclone, and Boy Blaze, and anyone else who isn't necessarily as consistently here, but watches later on, and when you do pop up, it's all love. So thank you, man, greatly appreciated. Shout out to all the OGs as well. Johnny was saying to immerse yourself in the language. 100%. Said once you're able to properly think in a new language, that's when you've unlocked the skill. That's what's up. Hold on, before we go to that question, we got to clap it up one more time. Boy Blaze, man, y'all coming through today. Revival of the Fittest was my introduction to Marcus Steve, Brother God Beast. That's yeah, man.
That's what's up, man. Thank you.
100%.
That's great. I was listening to Sarah Smile today, Hall & Oates, and it took me back to like 2004, 2005, when I was just kind of like finding out for myself like that era of music, where, you know, like Hall & Oates is kind of just like a white Shy Lights. and learning about a lot of the, you know, the music of that era, and it reminded me of the flipping that on Revival of the Fittest. So that's crazy.
Yeah, this is hilarious.
No, that's real life. That was me at Costco today.
Oh my god. Yo, I will say that, like, being out there, you know, as somebody who's, I mean, Jesus, when I first went was 2000. And so before we went together, and then before I started going with Sune, I had a good, I think, 6 or 7 years of going out there by myself, and, you know, not speaking the language and stuff, just knowing, you know, you know me, man, I know enough to crack a joke in a club, you know what I'm saying? You know, be polite in public, you know what I mean? And that's where it stops pretty much, you know? But I definitely feel like those moments that you're talking about where it's like you feel like the stupid foreigner and stuff, it's not as bad when you got somebody else there who at least know, like, you can speak to in your language, because you feel less dumb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just for sure. Because, like, we all have those moments, and I'm sure even as somebody who's immersed in the culture as you, who's lived out there as long as you have, your wife's Japanese, you speak Japanese, and you understand the dynamics and stuff of the culture. But I'm sure you still have your moments where it's just like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Black people feel like that in corporate settings a lot of times, where like we are, like we're bilingual in a sense, like in terms of like turning it off and on in corporate settings. But then you have these moments where it's just like, I feel like Marshawn Lynch, where like in a moment I'm just like, hey man, I'm just trying not to get fined. I'm just trying not to get fined. I'm here and I hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna shut up at this point, because I don't, like, there's certain things happening here and I feel like this is happening, but I don't always understand every part of other people's cultures, you know what I mean? And so, like, it's, you know, lived experience helps, but still it's like, do you ever sometimes just, now I'm sure I know the answer to this because we've talked about it, but like feeling like a perpetual outsider, no matter how much you learn, how long you live there. You know what I mean? Like, is that a real feeling for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I think it's I think you kind of go into, or you get to the point where you've been here long enough to know that that's always going to be how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the point where you either go home
Mm-hmm.
and leave the country, or that's the point where you're like, yeah, like regardless of how that makes me feel,
Mm.
it's still worth it for me to stay here for other
Yeah.
reasons. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's a big thing. Like feeling like you'll never actually be part of, you know, the overarching community and citizenry.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how well you speak the language or how well you pick up on social cues,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that somebody, you know, will look at you and judge you based on how you look, and you know, it's a big thing in the States too, where that happens
Mm-hmm.
all the time. But I think for people who are not, um, you know, in a situation like that where where you've ever felt that way before,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different kind of feeling of like, I'm going to live here for a long time, but I'll never ever be looked at as somebody who belongs here. So you kind of
Mm-hmm.
you got to get over it quick, or
Yeah.
go, or get the out.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a theme in your everyday life. Like, and if you don't have the mental capacity for that, it can drive you insane. I've seen it drive a lot of foreign people insane, where they think they're going to come here and, you know, oh, it's beautiful and it's so cheap right now and it's amazing, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
I want to live here, and I love anime and I love Japanese food. I love, you know, I love shabu shabu and
Mm-hmm.
katsu curry, and then it's, you know, that's like the honeymoon phase, and it gets kind of difficult to get past that and
Mm-hmm.
then continue being, I guess, like judged every time you walk out of your house or you walk wherever you go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And people treat you, you know, say that like you start feeling like you're hearing people like talking about you all the time, or you know,
Mm-hmm.
you just get too paranoid, and that can be really detrimental to your mental health. And um, it's yeah, it's a real thing. So I think that for me, I've gotten past that, and I still struggle with it sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
like I know for the fact now that I speak Japanese fluently,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm comfortable enough to where I'm either gonna reply to you in Japanese and tell you to, you know, piss off, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna speak English to you and make you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I can bring you into like my, you know, let's go Jujutsu Kaisen, into my domain, then you can feel uncomfortable and make you feel the way that I feel all the time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different ways to deal with it, but I think that Japanese people are very polite.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, you know, you don't feel that way, but as you get deeper, there's layers to it.
Yeah.
So
Nah, for sure. I
yeah, it's
remember.
complex.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I remember a conversation, like listening to you now made me think of a conversation you and our homie Jill, shout out to Jill, we're having in Oakland, and you were talking about your experience in Japan, and then she was talking about her experience going to Rwanda and different parts of Africa, and I was like just fly on the wall watching y'all go back and forth. And then I can't remember, I think it was you or it was one of y'all. You look over at me, and then you realize the context of what you saying was very much what it's like for me in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Exactly.
yeah. And he was like, yo, and that's so crazy. And obviously this is not the case for all black folk. You know what I mean? I don't speak for my entire, like, you know, for the entire global black community. But one thing that's just weird about like being here is like you're technically home, but you feel like a guest in your own home in a lot of places. And
Yeah,
and that's, you know,
it's not comfortable.
yeah, it's just like, yo, you know, the great thing about being home a lot of times is that you feel comfortable, you're able to let your head down, you don't have to worry about certain things. And you know, not all black folk again, but that's a luxury a lot of us don't feel like we can afford. You know what I mean? It's like, so you're always on guard. Like to this day, fam, I have no criminal record, but I'm like, anytime I see a cop, I just mentally prepare myself for the worst, And it's just like, and then, you know, going into a setting where just like when I'm in Japan, like it's wild. I can be in Japan and be the only black person or only foreigner in a space and be okay. It's actually like mentally, you know, like I feel like everything quiets down and it just like, I'm not really worried so much. And it's also because I know I'm only there for a short period of time and then I'm going home. So, right. So I recognize that difference. But like here, if I walk into a space and I look around and I don't see any other black folk, I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. You know? And then there's like, oh man, there's this TV show that summed it up really, really well. They were talking about, I think it's this TV show called Queen Sugar, where this couple, they're in an interracial relationship, and she asked, she was dating a white guy who was also a cop. Woman was black. And she was talking about shame, right? And this was a crazy conversation that I've never heard like black and white folk or just any other group of people have. But like, she was saying that like, yo, when you see a police officer commit a certain crime against anybody or whatever, do you feel shame? Or do when you see a white person on TV who commits mass murder, do you feel shame? Is what she asked him. And I was like, damn, that's a heavy question. And dude's response was, he's like, nah, because that ain't me. And I was just like, wow, that freedom. Me, on the other hand, like, yo, when I see a black person in a space and they're doing, like, for example, I'm at Juneteenth celebration the other day. A young black guy who, when I was his age, we don't look that different. He, like, you know, black folk, majority of the black people there chilling. It's Juneteenth. We all chilling. It's a lot of white folk, some other folks present. You know what I mean? This one young black dude runs through screaming something top of his lungs. He's rapping some song, most ignorant part of the song, you know, like just insert random Kendrick lyric, wop, 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 just something of that nature, right? Running through the Juneteenth event, fam. And like instantly in that moment, I feel shame. I'm just like, nigga, you making us look bad. Right? Like, yo, like, hey man, chill. Don't be doing that shit in front of company. You know what I'm saying? That is how a good amount of, like, for anyone who's never really known this, that is the way a lot of black folk feel when certain things happen. We feel like these things are reflections of our community because largely that's how it's been treated. Right. So, it's just,
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And so that right there, I think it's an interesting thing. And so like when folks talk about like all the stereotypes associated with black folk, like we're all like overly conscious of it. You know what I mean? And how like that thing can be held against us in certain spaces. But then when I'm amongst my people, my blackness comes into question because I don't do those things. You know what I mean? So like, yo, it's just so again, there's this shame that and I don't know how much of that was taught to us or like just something that developed over time, but so and even when I go to foreign countries, I feel like I am a representative of black people everywhere. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, it's a lot. So when I go to Japan and stuff, like I'm chill in most things, but I'm not trying to mess up because I want black people to be welcome everywhere they go. So there's this constant pressure of like, don't mess it up for everybody, son.
Right. And that's because you're conscious of the fact that you represent more than just yourself. When the same thing happens with, I mean, like I've told you this before. I'm like, if I feel like every person who has never experienced any kind of like discrimination or racial profiling whatsoever should have to go to a completely homogenous society and country and live there for a month or two at the very least and just see how it feels like for a second, because you know, at least in Japan, you're not really ever going to be in a position where you'll be shot on sight for the color of your skin, right?
Right. Right.
It's not gonna happen. Like it's probably 95% not going to happen, because they just won't do that. But it is to the point where, like, when I'm driving and I see a cop following behind me, I'm like, yo, I start sweating bullets. I'm like, shit, did I do something wrong? Or like, do I have like something I don't know about because I'm not from, here? I wasn't born here. I wasn't raised here. Is there something that I'm doing wrong that I don't know? And the same thing with, if you see, like on the news, if I see a 6'1", kind of gangly white guy from American who commits mass murder in the middle of a busy shopping district in Shibuya, you think that like the next time that I go somewhere, I'm gonna be kind of like looking over my shoulder of whether people are judging me or like talking about Americans this and Americans that, or we have too many foreigners here and we have we're letting too many people in through our borders and they're ruining our society. Japan used to be so great, and blah blah blah. So I also feel like on a smaller scale of like, I always have, my pops has always told me, like, when you go somewhere else, you represent your family and other people who look like you and people who follow your walk of life. And if you don't represent yourself in a way that is commendable, then you ruin it for a lot of people who didn't make the poor decisions that you made, but you are going to set that precedent because they look like you. And it's it's just how humans are wired and how society forms, and the homogeneity of Japan is just like really us versus everybody else. So there's definitely like an identity crisis for foreigners too. But when I've talked to black friends in Japan, they're like, yo, like this is amazing, because like at least I'm not gonna get like murdered when a cop pulls me over. There's no big possibility of that. They can take you to jail and put you in the cell for a month, without giving you a phone call or telling you why you're there, or scary shit like that. But you're not going to have a gun pulled on you,
right,
and put to your head, and maybe not walk away from a routine traffic stop just because you're you. So it's there's, when I've talked to black friends in Japan, they're like, yo, I feel like I'm at ease. My mind is at ease, like more than anywhere when I'm in the States. So
I would highly recommend for any black folk watching this, people of color in general, watch there's a YouTube channel called Black Experience Japan. He talks about a lot of this stuff. Like he interviews like black folk of all ages who mostly live in Japan, but he talks to some folks who are in China, Vietnam, et cetera, et cetera. And so what Marcus is saying is very real about when he talks to like his black friends there. Like that particular YouTube channel, I've seen God knows how many different black folks, and obviously the biggest thing for a lot of them, of course they love, a lot of people's introduction was anime and different things like that, or the food. But ultimately, why a lot of people move, a lot of black people in particular move out there, is the safety piece. I remember Bobby, I was talking to your homie Bobby, and the story he told me about a situation that happened at a club where he didn't have his passport, and they were going to take him in.
Yeah.
And he basically said to them in Japanese that he doesn't live that far from the club, and he has his passport there. If he could get it, he could prove to them, blah, blah, blah. They literally escorted him. They drove him, not handcuffed or anything. They drove him to his home. He said he went upstairs, went in his house by himself, got his passport, showed it to them. They apologized for the inconvenience and told him to have a great night. I was like, hey, young, give me 3 of those. I'll have what he's having. That sounds amazing. Like, that was crazy, bro. When he was telling me that story, yeah, man, I got held at gunpoint when I was like 16 or 17, because they called the cops, because in the apartment complex I lived in, there was no loitering. So you couldn't hang in front of your building. Now, I want, for context, for those who don't know, we're going to pivot and get back to Bob Alloy, but this is why I love my brother, because we have great conversations around this.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like people don't get it, you know what I mean? And it's partly because they get triggered by these conversations and this stuff, but this is how we all learn. If you're unable to experience this stuff yourself, then you have to listen to somebody who's gone through it. So I got held at gunpoint by a police officer for loitering, right? Keep in mind, I left school. I got out of school. When I was in high school, I had 10 periods. So my school day lasted from 7:45 in the morning to about 4:10 p.m., right? And then some days I would come home because I also volunteered for the school. I would give tours of the art program and stuff to incoming freshmen, right? So like middle school kids and their families. So I went home. My mom, who worked evenings, she would make dinner and then leave for work. So I would come home, grab my plate, warm up the food, and then dip. My man Nick, who I used to hang with, was with me. So we go in, we crush some food real quick, come out. Now, what do a lot of people do when you eat a lot of food? You rub your stomach, right? So fam, I'm walking out the house, rubbing my stomach. And when I was going into my building, a bunch of homies from the neighborhood were chilling out front. And then, you know, people would complain, so they leave. People ain't just complain this day, they call the cops. So as I'm coming out the building, the cop car's coming around. The cop sees me rubbing my stomach, my hand on my waist, basically, rubbing my stomach. And yo, before he even gets out the car, fam, he's still driving. He one hand like this, other hand with the gun out the window. It looked like I was about to looked like a drive-by shooting was about to take place, fam. I was like, man, I've seen this in movies. This is my life right now. And yo, so he stops us. And keep in mind, bro, like, stops us for loitering. He doesn't know I live there though, but I'm like, hey, I live here. What do you mean loitering? I live here. He was like, yeah, but they were complaining people out front of the building. I was like, well, that wasn't me. You know what I mean? I just came from inside. I got fish on my breath, cuz I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. And so he eventually puts the gun away. Like, we were held at gunpoint for at least 5 or 10 minutes, something like that. Like, he was talking to us with the gun out whole time. For loitering, bro. For loitering. And yeah, man. I got like 20 stories like that. 20. And again, no criminal record, no whatever. Doing, you know what I mean, if you've ever kicked it with me, you seem, you know what it is. But so this is why so many people leave here in droves, bro, because it's just like, you know, you get tired of trying to explain it to people. Like, you know, I ain't making this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ain't making this shit up. And the whole respectability politics shit is bullshit, because it's like you could be doing everything right and you still gonna go through it. And I see people treat me different when it's me by myself versus me with my kids. Like when I'm with my kids, it's almost like I'm safer. You know what I mean? Because then it's like my kids, for whatever reason, humanize me. But the second they're gone, it's like I'm back to being like, you know what I mean? So yeah, shit is wild.
That's
shit is wild.
Unsettling as shit.
Yeah, man. So man, we gonna keep we trying to, we're gonna make sure we got our house here, but at some point in time, you know what I'm saying? My goal is, hey, Marcus, we gonna be neighbors, bro. Where we living in the world, Marcus? You know what I'm saying? Come through. So that way you don't feel so, you know what I mean, like outcasted there. Nobody want to talk to us. Word, you don't like us, guy, Jen? It's all good. Man. We're gonna be loud as fuck at the bar together.
I got super nice neighbors right next door. Mm-hmm. And it's just still like something about them, man. Like they were too nice at first, but then they're also like just very, I don't want to say like too Japanese, but like it's just, they're like the most average Japanese family you could ever conjure up in your mind. So a lot of times, like the thing, they try and kind of like, what's the word, like like novelize? No, make me into a novelty as like a foreigner to like their son, which like, and then being a musician, somebody who works at home, that's not seen as respectable in Japanese culture, so there's a lot of stuff that I feel like I'm being judged for, even though like they're super nice. It's like they just don't understand, and there is always going to be that culture gap. But that's trying to understand people more as like for who they are instead of where they come from is how you get closer to understanding everybody in the world and becoming getting closer to the lofty ideal of world peace, where people can understand something that humanizes other people and makes them become something you can relate to, right? So if there's something that these people can relate to with me, they're gonna feel more comfortable around me. And it's not really my job to do that, because I pay my taxes, I follow the rules, I don't do anything crazy. So but it's still, so it's the burden of proof is on me, right? And same with the situation you're talking about, the burden of proof is always on you.
See, listen, man, you moved to Japan and really became white chocolate, son. It was like, you know what I'm saying? Marcus gonna start coming up to black people like, my brother, you know what I'm saying? I know the struggle, my brother, my sister, you know what I'm saying?
I yearn to be in a place where people don't accept me.
Oh my God, man. It's a struggle. Hey man, shout out to the chat hanging in there with us, man. I know where this is a bit bit off of what the show is sometimes and stuff, and what the updates can be, but I appreciate y'all for being present for this. Like, any of y'all who've watched me enough online, you know that I don't go out of my way to make this the main thing I talk about whenever I do these updates and stuff like that. But I do know that if you've been watching me for this long, you know that I also don't shy away from this stuff when it come up in conversation. So I appreciate y'all for bearing with us, man. And shout out to Marcus for
it's good. We get deep, whenever I talk to anybody, like, because I don't have anybody to speak like to in English about like more than surface level stuff other than my wife. So when I have the chance to talk with somebody who I'm as close to as I am with you, it feels like a wasted opportunity to not like have a deeper conversation than just the surface level stuff I constantly deal with here. So and I mean, we've been waxing poetic on this for over a decade, so more than a decade, almost 15 years now, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, these are some incredible stories. Honestly, I don't mind Bop Alloy reminiscing about the past. Hey, all right, what's going on? Happy Friday. Hope y'all are having a good day. Warpath, let me know I've missed some great comments. I know I've missed some great questions too, so I'm gonna backtrack real quick and then get into some quick updates. First, real quick, I just saw that my sister, I saw a while ago, but we were in it. But shout out to my sister from another mister. Stephanie Gale is in the building. Shout out to Steph. Clap it up for Steph. Also, just a quick interjection. The Bop Alloy vinyl listening party has started on bopalloy.com
yes.
and marcusd.net. So if you want to hear the new the vinyl master version of Another Day in the Life of, and then also just chill with the original first album instrumentals, we got the listening party going on both sites right now, so I'm gonna be moderating both of them, so feel free to come through and view the project in its entirety. 29 tracks.
Yeah. The link to both band camps are in the description of the video here on YouTube and then also on Twitch. Yeah, man, shout out to the chat, man. Yeah, it's popping today. We are 27 deep at the moment. It's mostly on YouTube. Facebook's still tripping. Don't care why, but it's tripping. So, I've moved on. So King B Cruel says, let's get that up on the screen. Go Gadget. Cole, you stupid. Go ahead. There we go. All right. Yo, Marcus, with the instrumentals finally out, I have a question. The albums have been out for a while. Is there any particular reason it's released earlier this year, or was it just a planned release?
I think don't fully understand the question.
Me try to interpret. I think they're asking, like sometimes when people drop different variants of an album, it's tied to a specific thing. Like it's the anniversary, it's the blah blah blah, it's that. And so I think they just wanted to know if there was a particular reason why now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the instrumentals, I've been trying to get them put together for like a double LP for a minute. But I didn't have the files anymore because the engineer misplaced them. It happens. They're pretty old anyways. So I went back and I located all the session files and I remixed all the instrumentals from A Day in the Life of. The mixes on SM Dub are like, those are clean. They're old and they're like perfect the way they are. They're like an artifact of that era. So I don't mind keeping them that way, and they sound great anyways. But for Another Day in the Life of, like, I had the sessions and I didn't have the mixed versions anymore. So I had to go back and remix them because I only had like low quality files of them for the instrumental. So I went back and remixed it, and then I've been working with a new mastering engineer who's like just crazy.
Nice.
And he does a lot of stuff through like reel-to-reel tape.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so it's he's been mastering for like 30 years now, I think. For a lot of really big bands and stuff. He actually Coryell, I forgot his name, old jazz musician. He did a bunch of stuff for him, but yeah, he's really, really dope, and I wanted to use him for this project, and the new instrumental sound really, really clean for that. So it's kind of like breathing life into it, and into new life into the older project, because it is the 10th anniversary, and I wanted to do something for it, even if it's something small. But this is pretty big. The vinyl it's a full package. So yeah.
Dope, man. Dope. Well, what was I gonna ask? Oh my god. I'll come back to it, like, because I want to throw us off. But I did want to shout out King B Cruel for also copping the vinyl too. Shout out to those of you who already cop. Y'all are amazing, man. We appreciate the support. You know what I mean? Johnny says, oh man, going to Japan is a dream of mine, mainly for the Hanabi Taikai. It's almost always on my birthday. So
Hanabi
what is
Taikai
that?
It's like a tournament, like competition of fireworks between usually they'll have like different companies or different entities that light off fireworks, and they're like huge professional versions of like fireworks. So they do like a back and forth kind of thing, and like a battle almost with fireworks in the summer. That's always dope. Pretty cool to go to. It's a lot of cultural things like that have been around for a long time, and people make a effort to like go out and participate.
That's dope, man. That's super dope. Hold on. Let's go back here. Hey, what's going on, Sab? Brothers, happy belated Father's Day to you both. All the love, all the power. I hope to rock with y'all again soon. My man, good to see you up in here, bro. Back at you, bro. We appreciate the love. Well, not back at you for the Father's Day thing, because I don't know if you remember. Unless you out here, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. You might not miss. You could be out here shooting up the club. I don't know. You know what I mean? So if you do got babies out here, happy Father's Day to you. But the last I remember, you were not a member. You know what I mean? But we appreciate it. You know, I always like that saying. It's like, oh man, he out here shooting up the club. You know what I'm saying? For the dudes who got a bunch of kids. I don't miss.
Fertile ass dude.
Uh-huh. Shout out to Robert De Niro and Al Pacino out here.
These are us Italians, man.
Hey, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? It's like, I wouldn't know. Well, I know you, but we'll see. Marcus gonna be out here, going 90 plus. Like, Yukari still? Right. Oh my God. All right. Johnny says, it's wild, man. I'm Venezuelan and living in Argentina. You might say I even look like a local, but sometimes the discrimination appears and happens. Yeah, no, it's everywhere, bro. I feel like, you know, we know all of this stuff is learned behavior and stuff, but like there's human beings we have this need to put things in the boxes. And so when things don't neatly fit into whatever boxes have been designed in the society you are a part of, like, you know, it can be hell for you or those around you. And yeah, it's wild. And it's important to remember, man, like how many of these things are, you know, like, yeah, sure, there are physical differences, but we clearly there clearly was a group of people who sat around and was just like, hey, this is going to be the thing going forward. And it's important, I think, for everybody to ask why, right? Like, it's we have a good idea of the who in a lot of these situations, but I think it's important to ask the why, because so many things that we think are about race, that's the surface level thing, but the bigger thing a lot of times is money. You know what I mean? So much of these structures and things have been put in place are about who's at the top, who's at the bottom, how can we keep them there, and how can we hold? Yeah. How can we exploit certain resources, this, that, and the third? So much of this stuff is that. So it's important for the people who don't think these things are real when people are complaining about them or bring it to their attention. It's important to understand that, like, yo, folks aren't living in this fairy tale place, man. Like, these are things that are really happening. And at its core, it's not so much just, I feel like the people who designed these systems, you know, their focus was very much on whatever, like I said, money. But so much of us play this stuff out, like, without even really understanding why we do the things we do, because we don't reap any real benefits from participating in that system. You know what I mean? But our day-to-day lives are affected by it. You know,
like defending billionaires.
Yeah. Or like arguing about, on a smaller scale, right? Let's make it even smaller. Or about arguing over what rapper you like, but not talking about their actual skill set. Talk about how much money they make or records they sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what that's like. I would turn my ears off if somebody says that to me.
Yeah. I've bear witness to it so much, but a lot of it is just like, yo, you're ultimately... We all kind of uphold these systems in some way, shape, or form, you know, because we may not reap the ultimate benefit, but on a micro level, like, there are some small benefits to playing this game this way on both sides, right? And so, yeah, it's crazy. It's really interesting to kind of watch. Steph, I'm sorry that happened to you. I just saw your comment about being arrested. Trying to get it up on the screen. She said,
"Who's arresting Steph?"
Right, someone who was lucky I wasn't present, because my ass been locked up too. I was arrested once for fare evasion, an offense I did not commit. Yo, New York, yo, Soon as she said it, before I even read New York, I knew it was New York. So I wasn't arrested for fare evasion, but I was ticketed once. Rest in peace to my man Rob. We were going through the turnstile. I went first. Rob didn't have. I don't know if he had money or not. I don't want to assume. God bless the dead. But yo, he pushes me through the joint so he could slide through the turnstile with me. And I had money on me at the time. And the first thing I say to him, I'm like, bruh, if you needed me to get your fare, I got you. He's like, nah, you good. As soon as we turn around, cop. You know what I mean? Like, if we weren't on foot. In my mind, it's like I see him. And even though we're not in a cop car, the second I see a cop, it's like, whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I had that sound on my phone. You know what I mean? I would just play it as code for, hey, chill out. Whoop, whoop. You know what I mean? So, yo, he stops us. He goes to ticket us or whatever. And I basically plead with him. I was like, hey, man, look, if you really saw what happened, and it's like, you know, borderline throwing my man under the bus, but I was just like, hey, bro, I ain't got money to throw away. I was like, bro, if you really saw what happened, you know I wasn't trying to evade the fare. You know what I mean? And it's like, yo, I got money right now to pay for the joint. You know what I mean? And so he gave me the ticket anyway. And so I had the way it worked back then, you had to show up to the court or whatever to dispute the joint if you wanted to, or just pay it. So I showed up to court to do it. The cop didn't show up, and neither did my man, Rob. But so I was able to get out of it. But I was like, man, this joint is trash, bro. Like they'll get you. I mean, my boy definitely shouldn't have did what he did, but it was just stupid. I'm like, yo, for $1.50, son. You know what I mean? For both the cop and the dude, like, it'd be different if I don't want to make no excuses, but yeah, shit was stupid. It was stupid. Yeah, NYC can be awful, but it's great for a lot of other things. I will say this: you probably wouldn't be watching me right now if it wasn't for the role that New York played in my life. So, you know what I mean? So it can be great. I ain't gonna just crap on it all together. Glad that was erased from your record, Steph. Shout out to my sister, one of my sisters who recently had something to sponge from her record too, man. And that whole process is crazy. Warpath says it's flat out. I flat out experienced a lot of racism as a Latino from Chicago moving to a small town. I can imagine. I seriously think low IQ to base your opinions off of race alone. 100%. No matter your skin color, you can act a fool. It doesn't make a difference what you look like. We are all humans. Amen. Hey, man, I feel you. I'm a representative of Venezuela. I get intimate with a new lady. Gotta rep my... Whoa, whenever I get intimate with a new lady, I gotta rep my country. Hey, okay. All right, Johnny. I don't know what led us there, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't know, like... in my mind, I just imagine you like, what if there's a catchphrase associated with your area, you know what I mean? Like you just shouting that out just based on your statement, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the equivalent of me like beating it up and then be like if we using early 2000s slang or late 90s, what? You know what I'm saying? Like busting it up and like, what? Sounded like Nori, you know what I mean? If Nori was a porn star. I don't know how that works, Johnny, but live your life, man. Whatever, you know.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, man. King B. Cruel says Logan Paul made Americans look like fools for a good minute. Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm glad I don't. Yeah, it's, you know, people are big when it's like you don't go out of your way to see anything they do, but you somehow can't escape it. Mm-hmm. I can't stand that. It was like, oh, you see it once and you're like, oh, this guy's an idiot. And then you keep it pushing and then they just keep popping up like, oh my God. Kind of like a former president.
There's a dude named Johnny Somali like that in Japan.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll get a couple more and then I'm gonna just get these updates and we'll get out of here. Just glad to see y'all still together. I remember listening to Bop Alloy when y'all first dropped. Got to get back into your music again. We appreciate it. Speaking of which, this is a good segue. We got new music on the way, Marcus. You know what I mean?
We do.
Yeah, man. How many tracks are we into it? Is it 6?
We got 6 done, yeah.
Yeah. you wanna. I ain't saying we gotta give them an audio sneak peek, but you wanna tell them a little something about like how you feeling about the record?
Oh yeah, I think it's by far our best stuff that we've done. Like as far as like, you know, I gotta be careful saying that because like people hold projects that have matured over time in a certain light, you know, for nostalgia is very, very, very powerful. So, but as the artist who has made the music or made the beats, and then also worked on the projects with you, listening to both of us and where we're at, both in our solo endeavors and our careers, and then how we came together in this project, because this is the first one we've ever recorded in the same room, like, you know, as a full album, and then done it in we did those tracks in like 4 days. And we just, you know, we wrote them together, or you wrote them while I was, you know, in the studio here. I watched you write them, and then we recorded them. And the things we were talking about, and we're talking right now, in our conversations, found their way into the lyrics and the performances that you recorded. So this is much different. Like it's a completely different level, because like when we're in different parts of the, you know, country or the world, and we're doing a project, we're sending it back and forth, and we're listening to what you did the other day, and then I'm adding on to it, and then maybe something that I made a long time ago. So it's fragmented, but it still came out like amazing, right? Like we have some, you know, I want to toot my own horn, but we got some classic material, and we inspired a lot of other people to do this type of music. So if we've done that with not even being in the same room for the entire album, the fact that we did all this stuff and we're like, you know, super inspired while also creating it, and then all the vintage equipment that I've collected and amassed over the past, you know, 6 years in Japan, and my skill of, you know, being able to record and mix better, I there's no way that this project is not better than our previous stuff. So like it's already better, and I know that's, you know, that's setting up like people's expectations, but I stand confident behind, you know, saying that, because I'm confident in what we have already made, and if we can even like be on par with what we've made so far, it's already going to be like far above technically our previous stuff, you know.
Yeah, 100%. I would say to anybody who knows us, obviously, I feel like if you're a real fan, we ain't got to say too much to let you know what it's going to be. You know, because I believe we're arguably some of the most consistent artists out there. What I will say, though, to add to what you just said, is I think we have a pretty good track record of, and this ain't a comment for the passive listeners of us. This is for the real ones who really, really pay attention to what we're doing musically. I would say you'd be hard pressed to listen to Marcus D stuff and feel like there hasn't been growth, right? And so to know that, you already know that if new Marcus D is coming, you're gonna hear that continued growth into this new record. I would also argue, and I'm glad a bunch of fans have reached out to me and said this directly to me over the years, because it's what I feel, but it doesn't always get recognized publicly. And that's that I always feel like bar wise, flow wise, this, that, and the third, every project I do, like I'm constantly stepping it up. And so, you know, needless to say, me doing stuff with my brother Marcus, why would that streak stop now? You know what I'm saying? So he's going to step it up. He's been stepping it up with the new tracks that's coming through. I definitely feel as though I'm doing the same on my end, and yeah, man, and yeah, we already got one confirmed feature. That's a pretty big deal that I think a lot of y'all are going to be excited to see this person on the record. It's something that people have been talking to me about. They would love to see me on a record with this dude. That was your only hint. Another hint will be since 2008, people have been saying this to me. Like, yo, you heard this album? Yo, when are y'all gonna do something? Or yo, hey, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, man, shout out to Marcus for making that happen. And the other hint I will give is someone who you've collaborated with before, but we've never, all three of us haven't been on a track together. So, yeah, I think people are going to be really excited to see that too, man. Shout out to Bob passing through, man. Bob 42.
Bob.
Yeah, man. OG supporter, man.
OG in the scene.
Yeah. Hey, so two things before I let you get out of here. You know we got to talk about it. You know what I mean? With you being a West Coast representative. Now, granted, you Northwest, but you're West nonetheless.
Can't see my toes, but I mean,
right.
you got to pay for that.
You know what I mean? Right. Yo, but yeah, man. If y'all missed it, Lord have mercy. So Johnny says, Stan, did you catch the Kendrick live show? Not Like Us 6 times is diabolical. What makes it super diabolical is how much of that was the plan and how much of that was the audience asking for it. Because there were, I know people personally who were there at the show. So I've seen comments from them saying that people were actually asking him to do it again. So I don't know how much of that. I'm willing to bet like the first few times, maybe like 2 to 3 times were definitely the plan, right? Or the first 4 times, maybe.
I'd say 4, just because you know he's being intentionally gratuitous, just because he's dancing on his grave.
Yeah.
He's doing the dance he did in I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The farmer hold down.
Right. Oh man. Yo, so did you see the whole concert or did you just see his set?
Yeah, I saw Tyler's set and I saw Kendrick's set. Got it.
Yeah, same. I've seen clips of Tyler's set. I haven't seen everybody. I love the fact that he brought Black Hippie out. What I haven't seen the whole concert, so y'all let me know if I'm wrong. But even though Black Hippie came out and did their thing with him, I'm a super Ab Soul fan, so I was hoping to get more from Ab, because that dude, man, God, yo, I'll probably listen to Gotta Rap as soon as I get off of here, and then that other joint, Gotta Do Better, I gotta, hey, God, bro, that last album was crazy. Yeah, Ab is criminally underrated. But
I feel like it's just because he's okay with it, like being underrated, though.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, 100%.
People who know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Kendrick is GOATed. Glad to see him fully recognized by the world at this point. Yeah, man. Yeah. That definitely, that performance was dope for so many reasons. Like, one, anytime, like I saw a lot of people talk about who wasn't there, and I feel like too much emphasis for some people, the gossip folks love to gossip. There was too much emphasis on who wasn't. Like a lot of people were asking why Snoop was there. I had to tell somebody, I was like, well, I know you see Dre and you just immediately assume Snoop would, but Dre is a studio rap, fam. From what I know about this dude as an artist, like, he's like a Marcus D, or Marcus is like him. We're going to respect the age dynamic. But in that, like, these dudes, man, they camp out in the studio and work. They ain't necessarily out trying to be social all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I can't speak for you, especially when you're here, to say you'd rather be creating. But would you say that's a fair assessment of who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I would I get asked to DJ a lot, and unless like in Tokyo, and
Mm-hmm.
unless like the money is, pretty, no pun intended, substantial,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not leaving my house to go do that because I'd rather make music than go out and play other people's music,
Mm-hmm.
or my music, because I feel weird playing my music too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I know I shouldn't, but yeah, a lot of times I'd rather just be in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, I feel that. I'm definitely more of a homebody these days and stuff. Like I'll go out, with the family and stuff like that, But yeah, if you see me out in a setting that is around the type of work I do, it's either something very important, community related or organization related, or I'm being paid to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'd rather be chilling. I'd rather be kicking it with my folks. Shout out to those of y'all in the comment trying to figure out who we're referencing. In terms of the collab. What was your favorite moment? Going back to Kendrick, what was your favorite moment from the show?
That's a good question. I just like seeing the whole West Coast on stage, and like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dom Kennedy, I've always been a fan of.
Yeah.
Like YG, like I love seeing YG up there just because of the fact that Drake tried to bring him into it by saying, like Kendrick isn't really about that life, and like my guy YG is. So like
Mm-hmm.
seeing him up on stage with Kendrick, and being like, yeah, like that's that guy over there. Like he's, cause I mean, like West Coast is. I mean, you got East Coast and you got West Coast, and you got like everything in between.
Right.
Like if when it comes to scenes and like hip hop culture, like East Coast and West Coast are extremely like dense when it comes to the amount of legendary artists and like culture that's come out of both of them and how different they
Yeah.
are from each other. So like West Coast is, there's squabbles within the scene every now and then, but like when you're West Coast and you have somebody like Kendrick who unites the coast,
Mm-hmm.
like he did, like he really united like a lot of people who weren't cool and like who aren't on good terms or whatever, and because of what he did and what he represents now, and not just being like a big star but also coming back and providing for his community and like giving other people chances, putting other people on, because he always has, forever,
Mm-hmm.
and being that pillar in the community, but then also staying humble. I think that just the camaraderie and then like having everybody, I mean, like you have legends all over the place, all over the stage, and he's cool with just like everybody being up there. Like he's not trying to take any, like I feel like if it was Drake, he'd have them up there because he needs something from them or because he can benefit from having them in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these, a lot of the people that were on stage with Kendrick, he could have been, like on some diva stuff where it's like, this is my show and blah blah blah, but he's never been like that. So
Right.
it's just cool to see, like, even when he's at like the maybe the biggest he's been ever right now, he's still exactly the same. It's like, what does this picture remind you of, right? It's the To Pimp a Butterfly.
Oh yeah, yeah. And the following day, you started seeing people like doing a version of it. You know what I mean? Like the moment I saw it, my Serenity was in the room watching it with us, and the moment they did this, first thing out my mouth, I was like, "Yo, it's the Pimp a Butterfly cover," and then Serenity's like, "Yeah," I was like, "Yo, it's crazy, it's crazy." Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's just being like growing up on the West Coast, it's cool to finally have somebody again who's like from my generation, who represents the coast on like that on a national and on like a global scale. Like you see like a Japanese dude from Kung Fu Generation tweeting about like how monumental like this picture is, and like having how many people were on stage, and what it meant to him as like a Japanese dude who he's just a fan, right? And he's watching, but it reaches that far because it's, this is made. I think Kendrick turned like a possibly very negative thing, like shout out to Questlove for being dumb wrong on this entire thing.
Yes, get him.
Just like showing that's it doesn't have to be like that, and then to think that to like put that on Kendrick and Drake, like that they're gonna be dudes who are gonna take it to a certain level. Which Drake, I mean, like he kind of was being real, like he hit below the belt first, and Kendrick told him like, yeah, you don't really want to bring it there, but like we can if you want to.
Yeah.
And then he delivered on his promise, and it's like, well, yeah, like he said he was going to. You think that like, I don't know, you think Kendrick's not going to? Because everything I've ever heard him rap about and be about and show where he's from, like that Vice documentary where he's sitting in the yard with like all his blood homies in the back. Like dude, like he's from here. Like he donated to the Compton High School anonymously. Right. Gave him all brand new equipment and didn't tell anybody about it. Like he represents, like his actions, he stands on business, like he represents what he says he's going to do. And like to have somebody on the West Coast who's doing that again, like I don't know how long it's been since we've had a role model to be like, I'm happy I'm from, the West Coast, and like have somebody represent that, because it's been a long time. So
yeah,
long-winded, but I love the West Coast, and I love West Coast music. I love Dre, Snoop, Dog Pound, like everybody. Tupac was like my favorite artist when I was growing up. So the fact that Kendrick also, he said something new and not like us. So give me back Pac's ring and maybe I'll show you a bit of respect. Yeah.
It was crazy. As Johnny put, it was diabolical. The real life boogeyman, yo. Shout out to Kendrick. Yeah, it was legendary, man. It was definitely a special moment. Addressing the idiotic comment that Questlove said. I was in Skills. Shout out to Skills, legendary artist. I was in his comments addressing this joint before I comment on my own Facebook page, where what Questlove said about like hip hop being dead. It was just like, I just get tired of people in general saying that when they're not talking about hip hop. You're referring to something that deals with rap music, fam. So stop trying to kill off the entire culture, because the only other people who kind of play into this thing that you're talking about are maybe DJs. So, okay, I'll give you rap, I'll give you MCs, I'll give you DJs, but you're not talking about breakers, right? Like, where hip hop's dead, like, okay, got it. I'm sure these breakers over here, these organizations that are global now doing this work everywhere, you know what I mean? Like whole institutions being built around the culture. It's dead, but meanwhile, institutions are popping up left and right. Now, breakers who were only competing locally in different countries, from Nepal to still here in the US, are now have an opportunity to be in the Olympics. But it's dead though. You know what I'm saying? And these folks are largely people who aren't capitalizing on what we associate with mainstream hip hop. These folks who are doing these type of things are mostly doing this independent and unknown. So if anything or whatever, it's more alive than it's ever been. It's just, I'm just tired of people who don't agree with how a particular thing in the culture is panning out, trying to kill it off because somebody did something you don't like. I'm like, that's not how it work, fam. Take you and your butt her ass, sit down somewhere, somebody give them some extra pillows and shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, come on, bro. And nothing that was said in this joint, I do feel like this is one of the, I'll just say it, this is one of the greatest battles in hip hop. That's not even deniable. or arguable. I will say we can argue if it is the greatest. To me, it feels like it might be, from just the rollout, the way Kendrick did this, because we've never seen anyone leverage the various platforms this way. Like, yo, we talk about six times in a row being diabolical. Nah, bro, doing a concert in your backyard, like not literally your backyard, but in your in the area you're from or nearby on Juneteenth, the blackest holiday there might be. You know what I mean? And then letting the world be able to stream it like on Amazon. So like, fam, like for all of the Drake stans who, you know, who love to bring up the financial part of things and the numbers and this, that, and the third, it's like, yo, he beat this dude all the different ways you could beat this guy. You know what I mean? And it's not even debatable. If you're still arguing at this point, it's like, you know, I saw someone say something. It's like, yeah, y'all are obsessed with blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we're obsessed, bro. We're obsessed. Your boy clearly got mopped up and you still talking about it. Like, you're still talking like he didn't win. It's like the Jay-Z fans who were like, yeah, you know, like, I don't really feel like Jay won that battle. I'm like, well, the fact that ether is slang begs to differ with your point. Right? So, like, the fact that, like, now, how, like, it's common slang now for people to, like, if there's a situation going down, like, sometimes you gotta pop up and show niggas. Like, that's gonna be the statement going forward. So when we talk about impacting culture, Kendrick has literally done this from his first release, his first official release, to the new one. Almost every time he comes out, this dude impacts culture in a real way. Conversations about things that people typically don't talk about, whether it's something as basic as lyrics or something as serious as child molestation. Like, this dude, he's moving the needle in a different way. And those type of things don't always show up on stat sheets or, like, you know, record sales reports and this, that, and the third, you know. And yeah, man, I even saw the thing.
You got a beat from Alchemist.
Yeah, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Like, that's as hip hop as it gets. It's like he did beef. He had beef against Drake, and he did a Drake diss over an Alchemist beat. Like,
yeah, it's hard. It was super hard, bro. Yeah, it was crazy, man. You know, but the lesson, the moral of the story is, though, sometimes you got to pop out and show niggas. Sometimes. Sometimes. But anyway, on that note,
too many quotables, just way too many quotables. Like,
yeah, bro.
That's usually how you can tell, like, by how somebody won, is like, if it's not apparent, like, right away, which it was to me, like, it will become apparent to you later on as people start, like, when Kendrick can just ad-lib his own verse in a stadium.
Yeah.
And he can keep most people don't understand. Most people don't know that. Like, being able to keep up, like, with the verse while an audience is usually clapping on 1 and 3, you know.
Yeah.
but they're able to rap, like, an entire, like, pretty dense polysyllabic verse.
Yeah.
From Kendrick Lamar, and they're on beat with it. And he's just ad-libbing them. Like, that's the craziest shit I've ever seen. And, like, beef, there's no beef like that.
Yeah, bro. Nah, this was different.
Throw a Kia form off of beef and have it end in peace.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Nah, that was legendary. Hey, this fan has been super patient. I hope Ousted is still here. They want to know, man. They want to know, what is your top 10 anime/manga list? They want to know. Fans want to know, son.
Okay, I'm gonna do it quick, so it's not gonna be. Don't bring it back on me if I say something, you know, that I regret. It's subject to change.
Yes,
but I gotta be Yu Yu Hakusho number 1. My favorite anime and manga of all time. I love Rurouni Kenshin probably next, as like a whole. Um, Gosh,
Hey, somebody make sure y'all put these in the chat so that way for anyone who missed it, who like maybe he can't follow along with what he's saying or whatever, but wants to check it out. That way we have it as a point of reference. But go. I'm sorry, Marcus.
I need to go back and like look at my list. But what I've trying to. I mean, obviously Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop. These aren't in any order after this, but Yu Yu Hakusho and Rurouni Kenshin probably 1 and 2. I loved. I actually really liked the Seven Samurai anime.
Yeah, I got that box set.
Yeah, me too. That was
dope.
Super dope. And then I want to say Bleach because Bleach is like it means a lot to me. I've watched it since like the beginning, and I kind of grew up with it like from high school to all the way to like now. Hunter x Hunter is probably number 3 for me because it's also done by the dude who made Yu Yu Hakusho, and the characters are crazy. So I think that's 7. Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen it's young still, but I think it's amazing. Like
it's pretty dope.
It's really well done. I like the characters a lot. I know there's some like super important ones that I'm just like can't think of at the moment.
You're doing great, man. Look, to be freestyling them off the top like that, you're doing great.
At this point, I'm just naming them. Naming ones I know. I liked man. Shoot. It's tough. I watched Bungo Stray Dogs. That's a pretty cool one. Oh man. You're gonna make me go to the internet now.
You're good. I'm about to put you on the spot with a question though that's gonna force you to pivot.
Death Note.
Oh yeah, Death Note. Oh Lord have mercy.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Word. Yeah, man.
That's good enough.
Right. You getting some criticism over here. Johnny was saying any list without Neon Genesis
before my time, man. You should talk to Seiss. Talk to Seiss about that. Seiss is a huge Neon Evangelion fan.
Dope. On the subject of anime, still ain't over Akira's passing. Yeah, that was a huge loss. Yeah, rest in peace. Hey, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. I know you gotta get out of here. You gotta get some rest and stuff. You know, us dads need our beauty sleep. You know what I mean? You know that I've been teaching music business classes for a long time. We've been working together now since 2007, I think. And so, I don't know if you know, but I've been, I just said, I've been teaching music business class, but we just started Sam Academy this past year. And what I want to do is ask you, let me bring this up on the screen. Hold up. Bong. That should pop up. There we go. So, Marcus, why?
Yes.
Why should someone sign up for Substantial Art and Music Academy? Why would it be beneficial to learn about the music biz from somebody like me, to the random person who doesn't know who the hell Substantial is? So why do you think someone should take the classes?
That's easy. That's the easiest question I've ever been asked in my life. Well, first off, like I'm a musician. I've been doing this not as long as Stan has, but I've been in the digital age and like the streaming age for around the same time as Stan has when it came, since it's it's Genesis. And I've always considered myself like staying on top of like the newest stuff and like what you need to do to be on top of like streaming platforms, how to get noticed, playlist pitching, stuff like that. Like all the ins and outs of what makes my music get into the hands of certain people. And honestly, like it's difficult, and I know that like I could do better, We can all do better with promo and things like that. But one of the ways that I started learning more about what I was missing in my own approach to my music was just from listening to Stan talk. Like literally anytime we were in like the hotel, like during a tour, or when he came to my spot or I came to his spot, like he was always explaining to me certain little things that I always took for granted and kind of thought they weren't as useful, or they were kind of like, you don't need to do that because it's not going to make that big of a difference, right? Um, and I realized that thought process is extremely damaging to your like career as an independent artist, especially because independent artists have to work much harder for themselves because they're doing every single thing themselves. So every single little thing also counts. And I was kind of skipping some stuff and cutting some corners that I didn't really know that I was doing, or that they were that important. But then, Stan was telling me a lot of stuff about, he's like, oh, you don't do that? I was like, no, it's kind of, it doesn't really seem like it's necessary. And he's like, no, I'll tell you why it is necessary, because this, and that. But if you do this, then you get this, and then it shows up on here, and then it connects to that. And then you'll see sales coming from this and that. And once I started, kind of like just at my own pace, being like, I'm going to try what Stan said. And I'm going to try to implement it into like my own plan. I started to see like a lot of difference in following one. Like Stan will follow any thread to the very end to make it to get to a point where he knows it's worth something at the end of it, right? He'll just keep pulling whatever thread there is till he gets to the end of it and finds, like that pot of gold or whatever it is. And that's like super valuable as an independent artist, because we don't have the machine behind us. So you have to be the machine yourself. And like, from what I know, Stan teaches all that stuff in the Music Academy, and I mean he's been doing it for forever, man. Like he's a seasoned veteran, and I wouldn't listen to most people when they try to tell me what to do with my music, because I'm very protective of my stuff and my process and what I do. But when it comes to Stan, like he only has the best interest in anybody that is, either taking a class from him or somebody that he's friends with, and just wants to help people. So I don't think you find anybody more like genuine or somebody that's going to actually care about your music as much as you do, which is kind of crazy, because like I couldn't do it. I don't, maybe I think I need to be less selfish. Everybody should be more like Stan, but like when it comes to my point, like I'm just kind of like, I care more about my music than I do anybody else's, than our music, people that I make music with. So for me, it'd be very difficult to like care and put as much heart into teaching people what to do with their music, because I haven't prepared myself for that. But Stan's a teacher. Like he's done teaching, also forever. So I could go on and on, but like there's no reason why you would not want to, if you're going to take any kind of music class or like anything about distribution, marketing, or to help your career, like I would, if I can freestyle that off the top of what he's done to help me, then I mean, he's probably the one to go with. So yeah, if you have any needs that aren't being met with other music courses, or you're just trying to get into it from the beginning, that's your guy.
I appreciate that. Thank you, bro. Hey, man.
Yep. No doubt.
Appreciate it.
So, lie told.
Yeah, so real quick, as we get ready to leave, just run through these slides real quick so y'all know what to look out for. Just a friendly reminder, going on tour with the NPC Collective, me, Mega Ran, Shadow, was it Kadesh Flow, Old Super, the homie K Murdoch, DJ Rockman for some certain dates, and Rise EK. You can catch us at a city near you. We will be in Washington, D.C., well, technically Arlington, Virginia, and then we'll be in Philadelphia at Kung Fu Necktie. The Arlington, Virginia show is BlurredCon. We'll get into that more later. Then in Brooklyn, we'll be at the Elsewhere Zone 1 on July 16th, July 17th. We're at Baltimore at Metro Gallery. And then the 18th, I'll be with the crew at the Camel in Richmond, which we, funny enough, performed at our only show in Richmond, Marcus. That was at the same venue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we're heading back there. The rest of the crew, they'll be at a convention happening in Raleigh. I won't be there for that particular thing because y'all know I'm a music business educator. So I got to come back for an event I'm doing with Omega Studios and the class and my students. They're putting on a showcase and stuff. So I'm there supporting them. July 13th, I will be performing, which is during BlurredCon, but after I do sketch pads at BlurredCon during the day, that night I got to dip out to go perform at Park Fest along with a bunch of amazing acts. This is taking place at Crescendo Studios. If you have yet to come to Crescendo, you're missing out. Beautiful venue, one of the nicer venues in our area. So come check me out then. Once again, I'll be at BlurredCon. I also will be at Otakon. We're doing Super Sketchpads, which is a live art and music lounge where we have visual artists drawing live while cosplayers act as figure models while a producer's doing a beat set. So we
Crazy.
So Katie Fox will be drawing live. My man Micah Blacklight will be drawing live. Serenity, my daughter, she's gonna be drawing live on one of the days. Then we got Kokai coming through during beat sets. I'm doing beat sets. Hey. My man Edgar Diaz. Then AJ Rios is doing beat sets. Lizzie Blue is doing the beat set. And then also shout out to my cousin, for those who don't know, Ducky Dynamo from Baltimore. She's a notable Baltimore club music DJ. She's also my cousin. She's going to be coming down and closing us out, doing a beat set and playing some of her. She got this crazy blend joint that she did where it's like video game music and club music. It's insane. Highly recommend checking out her stuff. But she's doing a set as well. So that's happening. And then I'll be performing at Conjutsu right before my vacation starts. That's at the end of August. Doing that right before I head to Morocco to celebrate my 20th wedding anniversary. We're also doing sketch pads. Yeah, bro. Crazy. We're also doing sketch pads at BlurredCon with me and Luna Bunny. Excited for that. She's the artist who illustrated my children's book, so it's our first time doing sketch pads together. Should be dope. And I think, we already talked about that. So yeah, man, that is it. Appreciate y'all, man. I know it was a long one today, but it's not every day that we get Marcus D to come and be with us, man. And he's my brother from another mother, man. Love this dude. And appreciate you for coming on the show. I know it was super last minute. I hit him up about an hour and a half before the show started. You know what I'm saying? So
my pleasure. Thank you for having me on. It's always good to chop it up, talk music, and just be around like-minded people. So shout out to all the people in the chat too.
Yeah,
thanks
man.
For all the comments and the compliments and congratulations and everything. Only thing I have to say is go cop that vinyl while it's still around because it will be gone soon. And Kaiju Number 8 is also a very good anime. I've been watching that. I love it. It's super dope. I don't like the opening and ending songs that I don't know why they had to add One Republic. What anime director decided to revive One Republic from 2008 and put them in a brand new anime? But other than that,
who knows?
Dope ass anime. So.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for making time. Shout out to everybody for watching again. I think we covered everything. So on that note, Y'all have a great one, man. Take care. Cop the new vinyl if you haven't already. That Bop Alloy vinyl is out right now. Shout out to those of you who've already picked it up. Y'all some real ones. And man, have an amazing weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other, yo. Peace, peace, peace. Oh, and thanks for donating to the channel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sending through that money to keep me and mine off these poles. You know what I mean? We appreciate it, you know?
Super dope.
All right, y'all. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Take care.